Welcome to today's talk session. My name is Deidre Moss, and I'm the host of Can We Talk. I'm an educator, motivator, and a talk connoisseur. In our session today, we will focus on women in sports. My guest, Kai F. Selvon.
Hi.
Got it correct?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Kai F. Selvon will help me dissect this topic today. So at this time, I will pass the virtual mic to her to have her introduce herself today.
Okay, so again, my name is Kai Selvon. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, from Maracas and Joseph. I went to Maracas SDA, and then I went to Elder Blue, and then I went to Auburn University, where I graduated with honors in industrial design. For those that don't know, industrial design is a sector of architecture. It's just not dealing with roads and buildings. So I mostly do anything but that. So it could be cars, a cup, a phone. It depends on whatever I want to do. We're known for solving problems. So I've been a track athlete for 21 years. I've been represented Trinidad for all 21 years. I've started at 8 from CUT, and I've represented them at every level. I am a 2-time Olympian, and I'm waiting to see if I'll be my third go around. I should get the news by this weekend.
Awesome. So what did you say? You're a 2-time?
Yes, 2-time Olympian. I'm waiting to see if this will be my third one.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So before we get into our talk, I just want to provide a brief background for this talk. So women in sports is trending right now as we see many athletes put themselves forward for the 2021 Olympics to be held in Tokyo from July 23rd to August 8th. Among those competing are numerous female athletes, many from the Caribbean, but all are looking forward to walking away with a win. So with that, we will begin our talk. So my first point, background, Ms. Selvon, can you tell us about yourself, your background, and how and why you would have gotten into the world of sports?
So, like I said, I've been doing track for 21 years. I've represented my country at every level, all the way from CUT to Olympics. I got into sport, funny story, I was, it was a kindergarten sports day, and I ran a race. It was boys and girls, and I ran the race for a lunch kit. The lunch kit was, those, it was way back then. So the lunch kit had like them alphabet letters in it, and I wanted the lunch kit. So when I won the lunch kit, for some reason that in me made me feel like, yeah, if this how it feels to win, to get a prize, then I'm gonna go into it. So that's how I actually started. And then at my primary school in Maracas SDA, there was a teacher called Mr. McCoon who saw my talent and decided to push me into taking track seriously. So it started at primary school games, and then I gradually went to a club, Airborne Sonics, under Mr. Old Bonds, and then it just started to go from there.
Awesome. Well, you would have started early. That's early. Awesome. So let's get into women in sports, Ms. Selvon. So what is your view of women in sports? And do you believe that women in sports are held to the same standards as the men in sports based on your experience?
I don't think women are held to the same standard. You could see it where when the men run in the 100 meters, you would see most of the people come to the stadium. I actually saw it in Olympics when it was 2008, which was my first Olympics going to, but I wasn't on the team. And that was when Usain Bolt broke all the records, and the stadium was packed. And then but that was the 100 meters, and then like for the 200, where I would say the major event was the women 200, it wasn't that much people, so they were there for Usain Bolt. Obviously, not only because of his talent, but I feel as though the men do get more support. And then like financially, on the professional side, even though the financial aspect of it is private, it's known that the men tend to get more money than the female. And then even looking at locally, we're talking about Trinidad team, for instance, a quick example, when we go to travel for meets, so they when like say the 4x1 men relay team, they would say what they want to do. Whereas with the females, they basically come and say, this is the team or this is how you're running. And sometimes like when we want to say where we want to change it, you get kind of like a kickback. Whereas with the men, it's like, all right, whatever you all want to do, that's how it is. But that was in the past times. Presently, it changed a little bit because, you know, we have said something about it. But back then, yeah, the men would kind of get their own way, but the woman is like, you do what I say, or you do what, this is how we want it set up. So yeah, I would say that the standard is not the same.
Wow, that's a very interesting point. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Nikki Williams. She is my team member, my regional team member from TNT, who would have connect with Kai. So Nikki, how are you? All right, just wanted to give her a shout out. And so we want to talk about the contribution of Caribbean athletes. So you're from the Caribbean, you're from TNT.
Right.
Mhm.
I think the Caribbean have some of the most talented athletes, not only people, but athletes in general. Even if you look back to the Olympics, in every final, there's always a Caribbean country. The last couple of Olympics in the top three was whether it's Jamaica or Trinidad. So I think the Caribbean athletes do have like they put a stamp on that platform where it kind of bring awareness to the Caribbean, and you know when you go there and you see you from Jamaica or Trinidad, it's like, oh yeah, like they must be fast because of the history of the type of artists that have been out there. So yeah, I would think we put a stamp on that platform.
Awesome, and I thank you for sharing. And it's amazing because when you think about how small the islands are, and to be from a small country, small island,
Right.
and make a big impact, is amazing.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I know, yeah, and I know from young.
Even when you go to meets, they be like, oh, Jamaica, or like like when Jamaica reach, they reach. When Trinidad reach, they reach. So yeah, I think we are fed at that level because they all know the kind of talent we have in the Caribbean.
And I know from the Bahamas, from where I'm from, we have our athletes who make our, we make our mark too. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Shawnee
figure out
Miller.
if there's something in the water. Do you think there's something in the water? What do you think it is?
I don't know. But we have some good athletes, man.
Awesome. So let's get this one is just a bit controversial. Just a bit. So there's a this trend, and you have persons who would have transitioned from male to female or female to male. And so there's the issue with trans athletes that's increasing. For example, for the first time in 2021, the first transgender athlete will be competing. So what do you think? What is your view? How do you feel about that?
That is a touchy subject. I would say it's unfair for, like, let's say it's a trans athlete that's like from male to female. I think it's unfair to the other females where you have this guy coming and run against them. Primarily because men are naturally faster, they are naturally stronger, so it kind of put the woman at a disadvantage. But that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah, I know we can't touch it too much. I know it's a very controversial issue. People are still ruling on it. I know there was an athlete who wanted to compete, who couldn't compete, male to female. So it's a touchy subject, and I guess they're working out how they're going to be able to address it. But they're definitely gonna have to address it moving forward as you have more persons come forward and say, "Hey."
I think I saw where they were saying that they'll have to get some lower their testosterone or something like that. But we'll see.
Yeah, that would definitely be something that is going to have to be addressed in the future. And so as we look to the future, we look at younger persons coming up who may be interested in becoming an athlete. And as you would be able to be someone who has been in being an athlete for a long time, What advice would you give to young women? You're a young woman. What advice would you give to young women who may aspire to become an athlete?
I would tell them to go ahead with it. Go ahead and get involved, because sports is a transportation for you to get out of a situation. Like, for instance, like you're at I wouldn't say a poor family, but a family with lesser means, it's a transportation for you to come out of that situation where you can be able to get paid to do what you like to do. One or two, it could be a transport for you to go and further your education where you get scholarships. And besides the education and the financial aspect, sports teaches you character. It builds your character. It teaches you dedication. It teaches you how to get back up when you fall. Hard work, determination. There's a lot of characteristics that can be built from doing sports. So I would tell them to go ahead and get into sports and forget about what people will think. Sometimes you want to do a sport, but your friends and them saying, you ain't fast enough, or you ain't gonna be good. But forget about that, and you go and accomplish your goal or your dreams to become an Olympic medalist or whatever your goal is. The only how you would know if you're good at it is if you do it. So it's better to try and fail than fail to try.
I like that. And your book. You wrote a book. Let's talk about that. What's the title and what's the inspiration behind your book?
So the name of the book is called Fit for the Fight. It talks about how I accomplished or overcame my adversities and my hurdles, with the hopes that when people see how I overcame mine, that they too would be inspired, maybe to take up some of the things that I've done to get through it. Maybe they could learn that they too is not the only one that going through the situation. Everybody goes through these adversities. It's just a matter of what the process of getting back up. What made me write the book? There's a couple of things that made me write the book, but there's three primary reasons, which was one, I was hurt from 2013 all the way to I would say 2020, because this is the first year I'm actually healthy all year. And I've heard the comments that people would make in regards to me and that how I wasn't performing. And then the second reason was, when I went to Olympics, my first Olympics in 2012, we made it to the finals, but we didn't get a medal. And we live in a culture where we only celebrate the people that get a medal. They deem that to be the success. So I wanted to show people that a medal is not the only thing to show that you have succeeded. Sometimes just being able to overcome a hurdle on a daily basis is a success in itself, because of the amount of effort you have to put into even accomplish that or overcome that small hurdle. So I wanted them to realize that athletes go through a lot. And I could talk for track and field because that's what I do. Going out there every day in the hot sun from 7 to whatever time, and you're doing that every day for a whole year just to come and run for 10 seconds, 23 seconds, 22 seconds, So I think they don't appreciate what the athletes go through in the process. So I wanted to show them that the medal is not the only thing that shows that they have been successful. Athletes go through a lot, and being able to accomplish these things and overcome these hurdles is a success in itself. The last thing that made me write the book was I've seen way too much of my friends and my families gave up on their dream because of the adversity that they had to go through. I wanted to show them that, again, not only them going through these different adversities, but everybody go through it. And I feel as though with seeing me or me putting it on paper, how I got through mine, that they'll be inspired to continue on the journey and keep pushing.
Those are some awesome points that you raised, especially when you talk about, the process.
Yeah.
You said for just a few minutes of running, there's a whole lot of time that is invested for you to just get to that point.
Right.
And then on top of that, you talk about the when you don't walk away with a win. How does that feel? Is there a lot of pressure when you don't come back?
I mean, for sure there's a pressure, because you know what you had to go through, what kind of training you had to go through, and then obviously you'd be disappointed not only in yourself but all the people that invested in you, like your coach and all the therapy and all the treatments that you had to go through. You feel like you disappoint people, but it's a process and it's a gamble, as we all know. It's only one person could win, you know. But I think there should be more appreciation in regards to even making it to the Olympics is an accomplishment, is a success. You know, how many people make the Olympics? You know, so I think that it needs to be more appreciated. I would also like to talk about, there's one particular, like one of the main chapters in the book where I talk about the thoughts becoming things. You know, it's important to watch the words that we speak. You know, sometimes people speak things over your life and it becomes subconsciously becomes a thought in your head. For instance, if somebody telling you, like, let's say I came to you and say, I want to be an Olympian. And then you responded and say, no, I don't think you could do that. Even though I walk away and say, well, I ain't studying, you subconsciously, when like, let's say I make it to, like, let's say it's the Olympic trials and I go on that line, the first thing that comes into my mind is, you know, she really say, I can't be an Olympian, I ain't gonna make it. So I wanted to let people know that it's important to watch the words you let people speak over you, and it's important to watch the words that you allow to fulfill in your life. You know, when people speak those words over you, have to counteract it and speak positive, like, I could do all things through Christ, or I'm more than a conqueror, or I've worked hard for this, I've done the training, it's a trusty process. So don't allow people to speak that negativity over you. It's powerful in the tongue. Words are powerful.
I love that. So sounds like you come here to preach today. No, but I mean, it's true. I mean, as you would have mentioned, you cannot allow other people's or their thoughts and their opinions to get inside your head. And, you know, you don't want to be the one to stop yourself. And so
Right.
sometimes you have to, like you said, filter those negative thoughts out, especially when you know you have a goal and you have something that you want to achieve. You cannot allow what other people say and what they think about you to affect your success. So I really want to thank you for sharing that. That's powerful in and of itself. So I want to thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing your book. Can you repeat the title again?
The title is called Fit for the Fight, as you can see in my background.
Fit for the Fight. Yeah. I want to thank you for sharing that. And again, you shared some powerful stuff. Sometimes we don't often think about it. I'm not in sports, but we don't think about the fact that what a loss, the impact of a loss can have on someone, and the disappointment and the heavy weight that it can carry. And that's a lot. And so do you have any additional comments that you would like to add?
Yeah, I'll tell the youths and the younger ones that it's okay to pursue your dreams. It's okay to, even when you fall, to keep pushing. I would tell, like, especially the girls, and I say this because looking back, after my era of track and field athletes in Trinidad, I can speak about Trinidad because that's what I know. There's not much females to the changer of the guards, and when you look back at it, is who is pregnant, who don't wanna look strong, and the guys who want girls, you know. So I want to tell them, partying and boyfriend and stuff, that's always there. Use this time to invest in yourself, invest in your dreams. And afterwards, if you want to party, you want the boyfriend, you want the girl. I'm not saying that you can't have a boyfriend and girlfriend while pursuing this, but I think they tend to lean more to the boyfriend and girlfriend side. That's why you see more of them, more the younger ones, get pregnant earlier or focus on that aspect of it. So I want them to know, take your time and, you know, pursue your dreams. Party and the girlfriend, boyfriend. Even for the boys, I want to let them know that, you know, you want to stand up outside with your brethren or your boys, stand up and lime and smoke the weed or whatever the case is out the road. But I want them to know that all them stuff, that will fade away. And then you going and fulfilling your dreams or pursuing your dreams may in turn motivate and inspire your same brethren or your friend or your girlfriend to pursue their dreams as well. So keep pushing and stay positive. Watch your words that you speak and watch your words that you allow people to speak into your life.
That's powerful, powerful, Miss Selvon. I thought you came to talk about sports, but you came here to preach today.
All around, man.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing those powerful words with us today, and we wish you success
Thank you.
in your journey towards the Olympics. I want to thank you for sharing with us today. And do you have a page you like to share?
Oh yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Kai Selvon at KAISELV as in vehicle ON. Yeah, if you want to purchase the book, there's a direct link in my Instagram bio, which will take you to our website where you can purchase the physical book or you can get it on ebook on all ebook retailers.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to thank our viewers for listening to our talk today. I would like to thank our guests, Kai F. Selvon. Ms. Selvon, I would like to thank you for joining us today. Like our page for future notifications of our upcoming talks. Comment under our videos and let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you want us to talk about. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Can We Talk? Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and on TikTok. That is provided on our page. At this time, I want to recognize the island of Grenada. Our thoughts are with you. And all of those islands that are in the path of Hurricane Elsa. As she passes over, I believe that she has upgraded to a hurricane. If I am incorrect, please correct me in the comments. I also want to mention that our show will also be featured on the Gael, the Caribbean Global TV channel that is made available throughout the Caribbean on cable TV. And we're excited for this opportunity. So I want to thank you and good evening. Again, thank you, Ms. Selvon, for being our guest today.
It was my pleasure.
Have a great day.
All right, bye.
Bye.